Let's go ahead and call this one podcast or video recording or Car Thoughts, episode number 10. And I'm hopefully going to be speaking a little bit slower than usual, simply because I am practicing escapism, I'm taking a break from social, doing a bit of a detox, simply because I've allowed it to consume me to the point where I'm simply I'm seeing a lot of people do a lot of things. And the way I've basically designed my social media, my platforms, is I watch these people on YouTube create these awesome videos of doing really cool and inspiring things. And then sometimes the same people on Instagram and just, a separate platform on Instagram also doing very creative and very cool things on their own, right? And me personally, I also post on both platforms, on Instagram and YouTube regularly. And I do it, a lot of it is for, to document, yes, to be able to go back and look and say, dang, I was doing that. A lot of it also, the point of me posting is to keep people updated, let people know that I'm alive and kicking, and also to inspire people of all ages to, I'm doing something that I enjoy. I'm doing something that I love, and that's all that's simply meant to be, is to inspire, you know what I mean? To get people going, because there was one individual, and it was a video he posted about 3 years ago now, and I just happened to stumble upon one of his videos on YouTube, and he basically gave me permission to start doing whatever it is I love, and that happened to be drawing. And he helped change and shape my mindset on how I should even approach art as a whole, and how it doesn't have to be specific, and how it doesn't have to be good, even. As crazy as that may sound, art is so subjective, you know what I mean? So good art versus bad art is very subjective. Sometimes obvious, but we won't get on that too much. But basically, his main teaching was not to focus on the end product of it being amazing, of it being good, but simply enjoying each and every line that you put on a piece of paper or a canvas or a piece of wood, whatever it is. If you're, in his instance, he was drawing, and so he was speaking about every single line you put on the page, get attached to it or detached. Just simply enjoy the process. Figure out what it is to you. What does that mean to enjoy the process? And so I gave it a shot. I just kind of mindlessly started doodling. And and I fell in love with it. And here we are today, and I very much approach my art in the same way today. A lot of times. When I want to switch it up, I go a bit more intentional, but not too much. But for the most part, when I pick up a pen and a piece of paper, anything artistic, I just kind of go for it, just kind of start throwing ink on a page. Or I have a pretty big project going on right now. It's a big commission. It's a painting on a big piece of plywood. And I just kind of went for it, using his teaching. And then as I went along, I got a bit more intentional with the art, but the original start was to have fun with it and get inspired by simply doing, right? And I say all this to I found my direction. I found my, what I wanted to do, and it just kind of finally clicked for me. this is what I want to go, and
Jackie, what's your location?
this is whoops. This
Fourth
is
floor in the hallway.
this is the method that, using this method that Peter draws on YouTube, Peter draws on Instagram. You can go find him. It's a great inspiration for me. Because of his simple mindset on the art, he's able to create these wonderful, exceptionally complex pieces of art using a very simple method of just enjoying every single line that you put on the paper. And I guess I say that because I've allowed, over these 3 years that I've been making art in this manner, I've allowed outside voices to come in and shape and mold me that aren't, that simple mindset. And in turn, it got very complex very quickly. And I guess to be more specific is I would follow these guys who are doing just exponential things, amazing, cool things. I say guys, I mean guys and girls too, just to put that out there. White, black, Asian, whoever, doesn't matter. Korean, I don't care. I like art. Whoever makes it, makes it. The artist, the method. Anyway, I just started to allow other people's work influence me, and that's good and bad. Good in the fact that it inspires me, it forces me to get up and keep going, but using it as anything other than an inspiration. Once you start envying a person and their work, you start to get in trouble. Once you start to compare yourself to other people's work, that's when you start to get in trouble. And I have caught myself doing that. I've noticed so many different things. It's like I'm doing a direct copy of people. Copying artwork, essentially. Or copying methods, or trying to keep up with how frequent a person posts on social media. It just started to consume me, right? And it has been, and my mind has just been, I feel the need to compete rather than, instead of, I feel like there's this whole art community, right? There's this, as a whole, the art community is a positive one. It's a positive experience. And so long as, and this is heavily controlled by you as well, it's like your group of people, mine are generally very optimistic and powerful and just kind of, they're artists. So, and they're just happy, positive, encouraging people, and it's great. And I forgot where I was going with that. I completely forgot. The big point of me even like pushing play today is because I'm just swamped and I need to slow down. I need to detox, I believe. I think so. I think it's time to delete social media, delete Instagram and Facebook and all from my phone and not get on it. And instead of trying to consume content, what I need to do instead is, oh man, my eyeball's exceptionally itchy right now for some reason. Instead of trying to consume and copy, you know what I mean? So consume people's content and then copy the content that I just consumed. I would much rather, oh, man, this microphone is in my, anyway, well, I'm getting sidetracked. I would much rather turn everything off, turn all the noise off, turn off my phone, turn off my computer, turn off, even the television, Netflix and Hulu and stuff, and turn it all off and just kind of zone in and get quiet. Get very quiet on my posting and get very quiet on what's my next move, and stop just intricately following other people, and just rediscover, reshape, and reform my passion. And it's not. So the thing I'm struggling with is not. I'm still very certain that I love art and I love making art, and I'm very certain that I want this to be my career. The thing I'm struggling with is how. That's the big thing. Is how am I going to make that happen? How many different streams of income am I going to have? How how am I going to balance? How am I? It's one thing I'm finding very tough is balancing so many different things. Right now, I'm having to work, a full-time job, just to pay the bills, right? Just to simply pay bills, and that's literally I'm making just enough to pay the bills in our little tiny crap apartment that I'm making that we're living in right now. It's like we're barely scraping by. Basic essentials aside, we don't have anything extra, but and while I'm making this my career, I'm focusing on, when I do get a commission, or when someone buys a sticker, or when someone buys a t-shirt or a print or anything, right? I reinvest it back into myself, back into my business, back into, like, for example, I'll give an example. Right now, I just dropped a t-shirt design, and today's Sunday, tomorrow, the guys at my screen printing shop are going to be starting production on this t-shirt. And the money that I didn't make a ton of money, I made a little bit of money, a very small amount of money compared to the work that was involved. But with this t-shirt drop, I'm going to take the money that I made, and I'm going to launch a website. I'm going to reinvest it back into it, and then I'm going to launch a website with products where I can host a shop. I want to host a shop for my business. It's going to be primarily an online business for now. Who knows where it'll go from there, but products will be sold off of this website. T-shirt designs will be uploaded, stickers will be posted, and all, and so I'm investing in that. And obviously I have to have products to do so I've been like hesitant to do so, to start this thing. But there's a t-shirt in the works. There's 3 sticker designs right now that I've made. I've made 3 sticker designs, a t-shirt. I've made several prints. I mean, prints are super easy to make, to be honest. They're very easy to make. Just take the digital file, take it over to a shop, and have them print out as many as possible. As many as I would like, and that's the end of it. But yeah. So we're dealing with that right now. So I'm working on getting my products ready to drop this. And then I guess what I was saying is like the idea is to invest back into myself. And so and of course, if you can imagine, I'm getting sick and tired of this job because I want to be an artist full time. I don't really want to focus on this full time job that means nothing to me. I want to stray away from that. I want to get to where I'm not working on that at all, right? I'm not even focused on that. And I know it's going to take time. One thing I'm not really concerned with is, thanks to Gary Vee, just a guy I've been tuning into for a long time, and in a healthy manner, been tuning into his stuff. He suggests to be patient, be uber patient, super duper duper patient. Basically, he's convinced me that nothing phenomenal, nothing fantastic, nothing dramatic will happen in 10 years. Expect this to be a 10-year ride before anything like crazy happens. And that's fine. That's okay. If it takes 10 years for me to be able to quit my job, then so be it. You know what I mean? If, it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, so And I don't want to. I don't know. I'm sifting through my thoughts. Usually I'm able to. Usually this is what I'm talking about right now. I reserve this for like my journal. I do have a journal that I sit down and write my emotions down on a sheet of paper. I write down what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm looking forward to. Sometimes I talk about my dreams. Literally just anything. Anything under the sun is fair game. Anything that runs through my brain as a thought is fair game to be put into that journal. It's simply for me. I don't usually take pictures of it or flash it, flaunt it out, because, it's a personal thing. And I truly believe that everyone that's trying to do what I'm trying to do, live out their dream, build a passion, build something they're passionate about, and live off of that full time, and just get to enjoy doing that every single day. I truly believe that every single person should have something that they don't even talk about, really. And I know it's ironic I'm talking about it now, but it's for the sake of, like, you guys listening that don't even know about this. Like, for real, find something that you enjoy that brings you peace or allows you to vent or whatever, and you don't have to share it. Don't feel pressured to share anything. Like my writing, I write a lot. I do write. I write a lot. But that doesn't get shared nearly as much as my photography, my videography, my art, the drawings and paintings and stuff of that nature. It just doesn't get shown. And I've probably posted. Well, first off, I know I've written 2 poems in like 8 years, and I've shared one of them, and I can't even access that anymore because, number one, I threw away that journal that it was in. Number two, I posted it on an old Instagram account, which is now deleted. I deleted an old Instagram account, and so it's not only is it inactive, but it is forever gone. So it's not even that important to me, really. I was fighting through a breakup. Crazy enough. And I just wrote whatever was on my heart. And that really kind of pushed me to start writing more and more, so it is what it is. But again, I want to reiterate that the reason I'm talking right now is, and if you're listening, my God, thank you. What are you doing here? Right? Are you listening? You are listening. Thanks. I know I want to get a couple of things out of the way. I feel like I've been just kind of bitching a lot, recently. I've been complaining, not really complaining, but like trying to sort through my thoughts, and I'm realizing how hard this actually is. And I can't stress enough to people that this is scary. This is terrifying. Like this is so scary. Because in order for this to work, people have to like you as a person. People have to like invest in you and want to support you. And that's a real fucking thing. That's a very real thing that happens. That's like, and if I don't have that, I have nothing. And that's a scary, scary, scary thing because, for my entire life up until this like last 3 years, I felt like I had nobody. I felt like I had nothing going for me. I won't get into the soppy details or whatever, but my mom passed away at 6, and with that, my whole life went with me, like that. She took my whole life away from me because she was my life, at that very young age. And I struggled for a very long time to find something that's not a replacement, but something that is my own, right? Something that I was super desperate to create, like to get into something that she also did so that she and I could be connected somehow. And oh Lord, I'm getting emotional. I'm trying not to get emotional. But Mom, actually, one of the reasons why I started drawing and making art in the first place was because I watched my mom do it. I watched her in our kitchen table and just sit there, and she had a an apple propped up on the table, and she had a bunch of colored pencils laid out on the table, and she was drawing on this piece of paper. It was like a yellow piece of paper. It was kind of like a manila, maybe like a mid-tone color. And she was drawing this apple, and I remember walking up to her. "What are you doing? Why are you drawing that apple?" She said, "'Cause it's fun. I wanna see if I can do it." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. All right." And I was tiny. I was like 3, 4, maybe. How I remember this, I don't know. But I was like, "That's cool." And then another time, I walked through. These are all separate days, and then Mom had bought an easel, a drawing easel, and she had a big piece of paper or a big like sketch pad on this easel, and she was drawing a woman, and it was a naked woman with really curly hair, and her back was you were looking at like her back, and yeah, I remember seeing that and just kind of like being a tiny kid, just kind of laughing because I was like, aha, but you know, I was just laughing because I remember like, it's so funny. And then another time, I remember her drawing a person. She was drawing a portrait. I don't remember. I think it was she was using like a tiny photograph, like a family member's photograph, and she was drawing this. And I like begged her to draw me. And I don't remember if she was hesitant or not to do it, but she drew me. She drew my tiny little self. I think she referenced, I want to say she referenced a school picture of mine, but she used a reference photo and drew me at the best of her ability. And I remember her telling me that she wanted to get better at drawing people, drawing real life stuff. That's kind of like what she was doing, what she was attempting. And I have another memory of us sitting on a hill, on a small hill, sitting in the grass, and we'd look up, and we were actually like on a church property. I think it was the church that we went to when I was a kid, and she sang there on Sundays. And we were sitting there on this hill, and she was attempting to draw the steeple. She wanted to draw the steeple, but oh God, oh man. She was drawing the steeple, and she couldn't get it straight, so she erased it like 3 or 4 times. And then I remember she was getting annoyed because she couldn't get it right, and I was getting annoyed because I was a little kid. I was just a little kid, and I was restless and didn't really care. Didn't really wasn't worried about what she was doing. I was just like interested in other stuff. I got bored really easily sitting there on that hill and wanted to find something else to do. And I remember just being annoying at this point, looking back on it. I was just being like a kid. I was acting like a kid. And she never finished that drawing. She got to a point where she was okay with it. She was all right with it, but she didn't get nearly enough done on this steeple. And it remained unfinished. And you know what's crazy? Something crazy about this whole thing. Every single piece of art that I spoke about just now, I remember her doing every fucking one of these drawings. And I have them all. I have every one of them. And they sit on the top of my bookshelf. And I haven't done anything with them. I want to frame them. I want to preserve them. I want to give them a proper home. Honestly, I'm scared to do so. I'm scared that I'm not going to do it justice. I'm not going to give it a proper resting place. I'm not going to give it a proper, home. But I don't know. I'm not going to stress about that too much. But man, that right there, those I remember as a kid, I was so inspired to, I loved her easel, and I didn't understand it, but I loved it. I didn't know why, but I just like, man, I wanted one. And what did she do? She went out and bought me and Dawson one, my little brother. He has no memory, no recollection of this, because he was like, he died, he died. She died when he was 2. He was only 2. And so he doesn't have these memories the same way I do, unfortunately. But he carries his own burden of, like, that's his own story. And he has a much more traumatic story than I do, for sure. When it comes to Mom, I'll let him tell that story. That's his place to tell, not mine. But I remember having this easel, and I only used it like a couple times, but I mean, that's, because of her, way back when, I was inspired to have my own stuff, and I was so inspired to just, I don't know, she looked so peaceful doing it. She looked at peace, except for when she was frustrated about not getting a piece right. But this woman, she would, ask anybody that knows her or that knew her. She, as a profession, she was a professional hairstylist. She cut hair, and they'll say that she was the best in town. She was the absolute best in Hattiesburg. And my God, she made, there was a point where Dad got injured and couldn't work, and we weren't stressed because Mom was paying the bills with her skills. Hey, but with that in mind, she also, like, she would bake. Not much. I don't remember her baking too much. She would bake cakes for birthdays. She would make the cakes that we had for our birthdays. She never really bought one. She did a couple times, but I remember she would make them. I would come with these ridiculous requests, like I wanted her to draw Spider-Man on the cake, and well, she did it. I wanted her to do like a Woody and Buzz, from Toy Story, and she did it. Best of her ability. She drew those characters on those cakes. And I mean, what I'm getting around to is she was the most creative person I've ever met in my entire life. She did so much. She did so much and left such an impact on me. I don't know. I remember sitting there every day. She'd get home from work. She would take a shower. She'd get ready and get in her pajamas and her comfy. I remember they were like navy blue with like little white polka dots all over them. And she'd be in her little white socks. And Mom would sit there and she'd be like crocheting or knitting. I don't even know what it's called. She'd be making a blanket. And it was like royal blue or something. It was kind of, I don't know. And she slaved away at that thing. She was so happy and peaceful and content. Dad would sit in his little rocking chair and watch TV, and Mom would sit there right next to him on the little love seat and make her little blanket. It took her a long time to do it, I remember. It took her a couple months, I think, because she would work just a little bit at a time whenever she felt like it. Whenever she felt like this little blanket, she just did it. And I remember watching her and asking her, when's this thing going to be done? She's like, I don't know, I'm just taking my time with it. And lo and behold, holy shit, I have this blanket at my house. I have it today. And, it's something she made. It's something that I get to hold on to. It's something that I get to, like, cherish because of the memory and I don't know, it's just something for me to have, something for me to love, and just remember her and cherish her memory. And I don't know. She's that's my mom. That's my mama. And she's gone now. She died when I was 6. She actually committed suicide when I was a baby. She left behind, she left me and Dawson, my little brother, behind, and my dad, he's working off, he's doing his thing, he's working far from home, and all of a sudden he's, his life gets flipped upside down, and he's got to figure out how to make ends meet with how's he gonna work his job several states and several hours away with 2 boys, I was in school, and Dawson still needed a babysitter and all, so how in the world, how's he gonna do that? So, I don't know, I didn't really mean to get emotional just now, but I don't know, if there's anything that I can do to keep her alive, to keep her sense of passion, her sense of like growth and happiness and just like joy and bliss and just all these things that there's so many characteristics of her that I just cherish. I just cherish these things, and I hope and pray that I can be just a little bit like that. A little bit like her. Just a tiny bit like she was. And well, I found it. I found so many things that I love. And not only that, I cherish these things. And as I'm doing them, often when I get kind of like in my feels, and I face some self-doubt every once in a while, I get to look back and go, I'm not wasting my time, because this little thing in my brain tells me I'm wasting my time, and I'm overworking myself and all these things. But I get to look back and flip through sketchbooks, flip through journals. I get to look back and recognize and realize that every single bit of the furniture in the house is either handmade by me, I fucking made it with my own 2 hands, or I personally picked it out, like found it in a cove of like a thrift store, just dirty and dusty and unappreciated, or I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace for dollars, pennies, and I either customized it or gave it a good clean, whichever one it needed more. And I get to look at those things, and then often I get to look up. I keep these drawings of my mom's. I keep them in eyes distance. I don't have them displayed to where they're like hanging up on the wall or anything right now, but I have them peeking up where I can look up to the top of my bookshelf where all my art supplies are, and I get to see them, and I just get to appreciate that and smile. And I wish that I could have more. I wish I had more and more to have that belonged to my mom. She was also a photographer, and so she printed out all these photos, and thank God I have some of them. I don't have all of them, but I have a big chunk of her photography, just taking pictures of stuff. And so I just, I don't know, in her spirit, I keep her alive with my work. I keep her alive with the things that I do, and I have begun to lose sight of that. I began to lose sight of what's important to me. And why am I doing this? It's not to copy other people. It's not to make $1 million, because God knows I'm not making that. But it's a certain spirituality about it. There's an emotional connection with art that directly ties to my mom, and it also allows other people to connect to me the same way I did my mom. She inspired the shit out of me. She inspired me so heavily. And got me, with that inspiration, with her in mind, I'm able to be an artist, a professional artist at that. I am a level 1 professional artist, right? As I like to claim. And so with her, I don't know, I need to really sit down and reevaluate and just recognize that everything that I have in my possession is enough to create. I have more than enough to make stuff. I have more than enough to express myself in that manner. I don't need more. I don't need the latest and greatest camera. I don't need another $30 to $50 pen. I don't need, technically I'm running low on black ink, so I could really use some more of that. So that's become a need. I've used up every bit of my black ink almost, and so I need more. So I'm going to get more. But I don't know, I'm losing sight of what's important. What's not important is keeping up with, there's a new term, it's an old term, but a new definition of what it means is keeping up with the Joneses, right? Usually it's like the next door neighbor. Your house has to be just as big, your cars have to be just as nice, your wife has to be just as beautiful, your kids have to go to this prestigious school, and you have to have this certain status quo about you that has to exist. And that's old school stuff, But the concept still lies where now it's not just your next door neighbor. It's the whole universe, the whole world. Everyone who posts a picture on social media is subject to being the new Joneses. You know what I mean? Like, I shot this photo and I was able to accomplish it with this camera. I drew this picture and I was able to do it with these supplies. And it comes down to it, and all of a sudden these kids, these people, you and me, we think and we believe that in order to achieve these results, I need these products. And it's a money trap. It's a hole that I refuse to fall in. And I have enough. I have more than enough. And to be honest, the stuff that I have currently, 1 year ago, I was begging for it. For example, a camera. 1 year ago, I was begging, just absolutely begging for a camera to have. And, like a mirrorless Sony camera. And holy crap, I have one. And it's not the newest. It's far from the newest, It gets the job done. And I have to really push the limits of what this camera can do in order to achieve something that looks modern, and like up to snuff of like competing with a Android phone camera, like it struggles to compete with that, but I make it work. And the point is simply the act of doing, the act of creating is what's going to get you good. Not the products, not following this person's journey and convincing yourself that, hey, I did that. No, it's not that. It's the hard work that comes with it. And that's ultimately why this right here, all of this being said, this 39 minutes, almost to the T, this whole time I've been talking, that's what I've been trying to get to is I'm deleting my apps, I'm deleting my social media for a while. And a lot of people say this, and they come back in 2 weeks, and well, I'm not going to claim that I'm going to stay gone for a month, a year. I'm not going to claim I'm going to stay gone for a day. I'm going to do what I have to do to get back on track on making stuff and getting to the point where I can focus while I'm actually creating, right? Because that's another thing is just a constant distraction. Identify the distraction, get rid of it. I want to be actively creating again and actually enjoy the process. I've made some pretty cool stuff, some like some really cool art projects and some really cool drawings and stuff, but here recently, probably in the last like 4 months or so, I haven't really thoroughly, absolutely loved the process. And that's what I'm out to do now. Or just to kind of rediscover myself, And give me just a second. I'm writing that down. That's the title of the video, of the podcast episode. Rediscovering myself. In parentheses, emotional, for a little bit of clickbaity nonsense, because I cried, right? Got emotional on you. I want to take you along with this little creative journey, right? I want to bring you along with me, but only in a manner that's healthy for me. You know what I mean? I can only handle so much, and if I can't handle it, then I'm out. Basically, if I can't, I'm just trying to learn. That's all this is. I'm doing to learn. I'm constantly learning. I'm being studious constantly. I'm no master yet. I'm still like a little fledgling, essentially. I have so much to learn in the business aspect, in the artistic aspect, in myself. Who am I? What do I mean? What contribution am I making to this world, and is it fulfilling to me personally? And that's something I'm constantly trying to achieve. I don't know. I'm spending some time with myself right now, and you're hearing all the aftermath of it, yes. But this is me talking to you. I'm talking to you directly. This one person that's listening to this, whoever it is. If you stayed this long, it's probably for a reason. Like you're either supporting me, or searching for something, or just feeling it. You know what I mean? And I wanna close out. You know what I mean? I want to close out with, I want to talk to me, a younger version of me. I'm 25 now, and if I were to be able to talk to a version of me that was lost, that was depressed, that was just quiet and shunned and alone, and basically when I was in high school, 15, 16, 17 years old, mostly 16 and 17, a little bit into 18 maybe, but really I'm talking to this version of me in high school, junior, senior year of high school, is that stop worrying about other people, stop chasing women and searching for your mother. Stop doing that. It's manipulative, it's evil. You don't realize you're doing it, but it's screwing with people's heads, and you're going to lose a lot of friendships, a lot of people. You're going to hurt people. And if I could say anything about good, something I'm proud of you, 17, 16-year-old self. So I'm proud that in that moments of darkness, especially when you were a child, especially when you were like at home, when you're at home and just hearing negativity constantly in your household, and your humongous, beautiful house was covered in darkness, you managed to escape it. Just your natural instinct was just to, instead of allowing it to consume you and accepting life as it was, you chose to go upstairs, put on some headphones, and write, and draw, and read. And I'm not going to cry again. My 17-year-old self is the best version of myself, and I'm so proud of him. Obviously, I'm not, I've grown and learned and done so many things, but I was so capable. I was so intelligent, and I'm not saying I'm not now, but back then I was so smart just to simply say, I don't like that, I'm going to get away from it. My household, I won't get into it too much, but my household wasn't the happiest. It wasn't the prettiest. It was all whatever. but I managed to find my escape. And that escape has turned into my passion, my dream. And that was my true starting point. And I'm thankful to have had that dark, dark days so that I can truly, truly appreciate the light that has shone from that. I have so much to be thankful for. I have so much to look at and say, I have a damn good life. And it's all thanks to you. Of course, the people who helped along the way. But the decisions that I've made today, regardless of good or bad or whatever, is like the ones that I stuck it out even when it was hard. When I just stuck it out and just stayed. I'm proud of you for that. Thank you. Self. Yeah. So, closing out, I am just going to say bye. There's no fancy way to do it. There's no fancy way to start or end. So, I'm going to simply say goodbye. My name is Hunter. This is the Hunt Studio. This is the podcast that has been revamped. Right? Originally, it started out as Midnight Coffee was the name of the podcast. But I've since tailored it. I've since transformed my playlist of car thoughts into what is now the podcast. Because I do enjoy sitting in my car and I do enjoy talking to myself. It's what I do often. And actually, it's what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting here enjoying the sprinkles of rain hitting the roof of the car as I sit here and just talk to me. Really sort my thoughts out, really sort my feelings out. And if you stayed for this whole 47 minutes, my God, thank you. You mean a lot to me. I feel like I'm just preaching to myself, but this is what I need, you know what I mean? And if you get something from it, you benefit from it, that's all I could ever dream about, you know? Like, that's all I can ever hope for, is to shine some light to the kids who were in the same boat as me when I was 17. Or, you know, realize that, you know, I don't know. Whatever it is for me, for you, whatever it is, by sitting here listening to this the whole time, if it provide value, great. Thank you for listening. That's all I can really say. So I want to get out of here. I'll see you later. And goodbye, I suppose. I will say with the last little bit of this, I am going to draw something for you people on YouTube. If you're listening to a podcast and want to see the drawing, it's probably on YouTube. Because I do enjoy drawing, and I'm going to draw something on top of this. I'm just going to set a timer for however long this audio piece is. Set a timer. Draw to my heart's content. Do a podcast just like Peter Draws has done his podcast, right? Same concept. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here. See you guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for allowing me to cry and not judging me. Thank you for just thanks. All right, see you guys later. Peace. Just kidding. I'm gonna let this run until it hits 49 minutes exactly.